I'm Aalok Khandekar. I'm Assistant Professor of Anthropology at the Indian Institute of Technology in Hyderabad, India. And I've been involved in Forest Sydney in two ways. I was a member of the program committee, which was a smaller part of my work. But what I've been mainly doing for the past 10 months is to lead the SGS Across Borders special exhibit, which is a digital component as well as a gallery style exhibit which has been installed here for the past 2 days on the 5th floor lobby. And what SGS Cross Borders is as a curated history of how SGS came about in particular kinds of formations, right? Be they departments, be they regional networks, be they academic journals, and we have had exhibitor groups narrate this history through uploading several kinds of found objects. So be they interviews, be they images, be they PDFs of like articles that were published or books that have been important in the elaboration of this particular SGS community. All of them have been annotated and curated by these exhibitor groups towards telling a history of SGS and these particular kinds of formations. And what we did as part of the gallery exhibit here in Sydney was to do the exhibit in two ways. So on the first day, the exhibit was installed by the exhibitors themselves to talk about SGS at Deakin University, SGS in Australia at large, SGS in India, SGS in Turkey, SGS in the East Asian Science, Technology and Societies Studies Journal, and so on. On the second day, we reorganized the posters so that you could now look at just how different exhibitors have talked about how SGS started within their formation, or how SGS has reached out to different audiences within their formations. And so it was meant to provoke this kind of comparative insight across SGS, different kinds of SGS formations. And I think this the SGS Across Borders was responding to the provocation of transnational SGS in fairly important ways. What we have on hand as a result is a very original archive of SGS, which we can begin to think about of almost as an infrastructure for what would it mean to think about a transnational SGS. This is an infrastructure where we can actually begin a conversation between different kinds of SGS communities with an awareness of the diverse kinds of beginnings and the diverse kinds of ways in which people have been thinking about SGS in their particular kinds of locations. I think a somewhat pleasant and unexpected, but very pleasant outcome of the exhibit also has been that it really has become a moment of capacity building, in the sense that several groups, for instance, the SGS in Turkey group or SGS in Chile group, where SGS communities are in nascent stages, or SGS in India, which doesn't quite exist as an academic discipline so far, even though there is a very rich history of SGS-like critiques in the country. And so for several groups, this becomes a moment of mutual learning, in much the way that we have been hearing in this conference at several different occasions. Right? And so this becomes an opportunity for people to think about, in another place, in another kind of formation, here is what seems to work, what might work, and those kinds of opportunities for mutual dialogue which SGS Across Borders has opened up. And so I think this becomes an important kind of way to really think about what the future of transnational SGS could look like. And we have, I think SGS Across Borders becomes something of an infrastructure for enabling that kind of discussion.